Solar Builder's 2021 C&I Rooftop Solar Project of the Year is the 33 kW system at the Flemington Area Food Pantry in Hunterdon County, New Jersey, a project inspired by high school students. Here to tell us about it is Tom Kuster, CEO of Merit SI and Merit Controls, his son, Evan Kuster, and Brad Dory with SMA America. Congrats on the winning one of our Project of the Year awards this year, guys.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome.
Thanks very much. Yeah.
This is definitely the first time I've had to wait for school to get out to interview somebody for anything solar related this year. So you also, congrats on that. Evan, this whole thing started with you, from what I understand. So I was hoping you could kind of start things off. What was the genesis of this idea?
Yeah, well, it all starts with an idea, right? So like 2 summers ago, I was volunteering at the Flemington Food Pantry here in New Jersey. And I was thinking of ways that I could, I don't know, just help them more. One of the ways I thought we could do that was by eliminating the cost of their electric bill. And I knew my dad had done projects like this in the past. So I asked him if this was possible and if we could actually put, solar panels on the roof of the food pantry to eliminate the cost of their electric bill so they could allocate more money elsewhere and like to help feed more clients.
But Tom, do you guys play a little bit more in the utility scale space? I'm wondering how you approached a project of this size and kind of got things moving from there.
As a company, with our New Jersey location, we have a community service day each summer, and so we worked at a nearby farm that supplied produce to the food pantry, and I got to talking to the guy that owns the farm, and he thought putting it at the food pantry where they had a refrigeration load would make the most sense as opposed to at the farm. This is a couple of years ago. And then so when Evan brought up the food pantry, it kind of brought these two worlds together between our firm's community service day at the farm and the food pantry. Evan made a pitch to the board at the food pantry to see if they'd be open to the idea. And they were cautiously supportive. Can you really get all these donations for all the money it would take, et cetera? And then basically, Evan wrote a bunch of letters to industry people like SMA. And some of the big players came together and liked the idea. And one of the real cool parts about it for us is the idea started, and I think Evan got approval like February of 2020, like right before the pandemic. Ooh, and then in the pandemic, the demand on the food pantry skyrocketed. So it was really fortunate timing. Once they were getting a lot of stress, a lot of long lines of cars and stuff over there.
People really wanted to help during the pandemic, so it made it a little bit easier to get all the donations.
And you have a great roster of partners. Pro Circuit Electric Contracting installed the array, donating all the electrical and general labor. First Solar donated its modules. Amco Solar donated the racking, which seemed especially generous to me because they do ground mounts, and this was a rooftop, ended up being a rooftop project. So I thought that was cool. And then SMA donated its Sunny Tri-Power Core 1 inverter. So I guess I'll ask you, Brad. We have Brad Dory here from SMA. You're the director of marketing. So I assume you would like to do as many of these projects as possible. There's so many great stories out there that solar could help a business or help a family. What drew you to this and, Evan's pitch, I guess?
Really, when you Tom kind of kicked off talking about this in terms of the need for the Flemington Food Pantry. And so I think from that perspective, it was easy to get some of the industry leaders to buy in on the concept, right? All Evan really had to do was ask the question, right? And he had to take the shot. And as Michael Scott said, quoting Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, right? So the fact that Evan just decided, hey, this is a good opportunity. Let's go and see if we can get this done. Really, this is an opportunity for SMA or Amco or First Solar or Merit just to be involved with a great project and give back to the community and help these guys lower their electric bills.
In my view, too, on behalf, we're basically a smaller integrator here in New Jersey. But when we work with industry leaders, I think they become leaders because they have those values that Brad just described. That they look at a need, they jump in and they get things done. And I always think we need supportive policy from the public to do well as an industry. And we should be looking for opportunities to pay back that trust and gratitude that the community provides to us. And Chris, you mentioned we do utility scale. I don't know. My company doesn't really know the DG side of the world that well, and the service we got from SMA to help get all the I's dotted and T's crossed was really helpful.
I was wondering about that. Maybe getting the donations can be the easiest part, but there's still a lot that has to be done to interconnect the system and design it to work right. And I was wondering, with mostly this being volunteer labor and work, how it came together over time compared to how a project would typically come together.
I think Evan was surprised to find out about how many people actually have to approve something, which you think the food pantry would get like automatic approval.
Right.
We could probably build a utility scale project in the same amount of time it took to build the 33 kilowatts at the food pantry. But we had volunteer work. Evan himself actually got on the utility webpage to verify that there was capacity. So Evan was involved in some of it. Some of our engineers were. We had some engineer volunteers from the community that reviewed electrical drawings, etc. And we got service and support from some of the key donors.
I think it also took longer just because some of the equipment that we had donated isn't meant to go onto roofs, as meant to be like ground mounted and stuff like that. So we had to figure out how to get it onto the roof. And with like extra fire safety stuff, it took longer, so stuff like that.
We don't have Janine Gorman here from the food pantry on the call today, but do you have any idea how she might sum up how these savings benefit the food pantry in terms of like meals provided or anything like that?
Well, right now they have like 500 families, I think, and during the pandemic that went up tremendously. And I think they were struggling during the pandemic, and having this money now can help, with the recovery of the pandemic.
I think the Flemington Food Pantry quoted something like 6,300 additional meals are enabled because of this system. So that's a lot of people that can be helped. That's a lot of food insecurity that's taken care of.
For the industry to come together on a project like this too, that it highlights the value of solar just in general to maybe policymakers and people trying to just spur economic activity or just run things better in their municipality. Like, slapping solar on a roof can equal, 6,000 extra meals for a community that's struggling during a pandemic, and it's just being able to help tell that story. It's a great project to come together and I guess complete for that reason.
It is. And Chris, I think to your point too, New Jersey's had to go through various phases of policy, and this program qualified for the transition rec program here in New Jersey. That maybe that's a subtlety for your audience, but the policy that bridged across from one old program to the new program is where this project happened to fit. And so 10 years of rec value, which is at a fixed price now in New Jersey, allows the food pantry, coupled with the electric savings, allows them to, as Evan said earlier, it basically eliminates their electric bill for the next 10 years. And, they have refrigeration equipment that was donated by ShopRite, which is fantastic on the one hand, but is older, less efficient equipment on the other hand. And so offsetting that bill is pretty impactful.
It's very cool and inspiring, and a extra worthy winner this year in our Project of the Year awards. Thanks for sharing your story this year, and looking forward to what you come up with next year, Evan.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can't wait.